I'm a columnist for the Chicago Sun-Times and political analyst for ABC7, and I am thrilled to follow up after this powerful series of presentations you have heard in that incredible film, which I think is so important. And I think, again, congratulations to the young people who are our advisors and supporting their community who are in the room tonight, because their voices are crucial in this conversation. I'm about to introduce you to a series of other crucial voices up here on the panel, a stellar panel who work and live this information research in the community every day. I'm going to just keep the intros very brief because they're full bios of the program, and then we're going to get right into the conversation and leave time for you near the end to have Q&A. I'm going to start on my far right with Lisa Morrison Butler, who was appointed Commissioner of the Department of Family and Support Services in 2015. She previously served as Executive Director for City of Chicago, which partners with at-risk schools to help students reach their full potential. Lisa Morrison Butler. Next is Hank Berteau, who is Director of the Cook County Sheriff's Justice Institute, which works to enhance the delivery of social justice across the Sheriff's portfolio. Hanky is charged with overseeing the Institute's operations and strategic direction. Abid Das is the Acting Deputy Director for the Cook County Juvenile Probation and Court Services Department. He is also a licensed attorney and has been with the department since 1999. And Debbie Resnick, who serves as Senior Program Officer at the Polk Brothers Foundation, supporting its Strong Communities program, which promotes and pushes for thriving neighborhoods and quality jobs, housing, legal services, and economic activity. And I want to open up, and Lisa, I will start on the other end with you. But again, we don't want this to just be a 1, 2, 3 down the line. We want this to be a conversation. But could you open up by just talking? We've heard a lot about the challenges, the issues that youth face, homeless youth face. Can you name one example of youth homelessness that you deal with every day, and if you could name one concern or challenge that maybe it's something you've heard already that you want to reinforce, or something that we need to get on the table, a challenge or concern for folks who are trying to get services, homeless youth.
I think one of the challenges that we face at DFSS every day is resources. I think we would like to have more resources available, more overnight shelter beds, more capacity. And one of the things that, for us at least, we do the work through an amazing community of delegate agencies. The more that we work together to collaborate across those delegate agency lines, the more it becomes clear to us that collaboration in and of itself needs to be supported. We can't do this work. The government by itself can't solve this problem. And so we are asking, whether it's youth, whether it's veterans, in every single homeless subpopulation, we keep asking the delegate agency community to partner with us and to collaborate together. And that collaboration is really hard work. There's only certain things that I can do with my dollars, if you will. And one of the things that is becoming really clear to me is that maybe one of the things I can do is try to advocate with private philanthropists to pay for some of the capacity building that the delegate agency community actually needs to be able to do in its own teams.
Well, you've got a philanthropist right up here at the table, so this is good timing. Just following up on that a bit, what are the roadblocks at collaboration? Obviously, there are a lot of folks out there that care and want to work very hard on this issue. What's missing from the conversation?
Well, as a former executive director of a nonprofit, it's just really hard to run your own agency. And then when you collaborate, you really need to know as much about the other partners as you do your own shop. And that's hard work. We're seeing more and more that with these collaborations, not only do we bring the delegate agency community together to work, but once you start working that way, it never goes away then. It never goes away. So you've got your own job that you're doing, and now you need to be on these phone calls and in these meetings where you're sharing the information. You need to be able to figure out, as you get the great research, how do you actually make that research actionable within your own organization? So for us, for example, there are a couple of folks on our team that actually have other jobs And then as these collaborations have become so important to the way we work, we're now seeing that some of our folks are working full-time managing the various collaborations. That's important. It's a sacrifice we're willing to make, but that also means then those people aren't doing whatever it was they were supposed to do. And so this is messy work. And not only is this emotional work for us, but now the messiness of these collaborations is another thing that emotionally we are all grappling to try to figure out how to do it, and how to do it without burning each other out and burning out our teams. And yet it's really worth it, because that's the way that we'll make the progress we need to make.
Absolutely. Hang your toe. If you have a story to share in terms of folks you work with that you provide services to, and a challenge that want to come on the table.
Sure. Well, at the Sheriff's Office interacts with homeless youth in a variety of different ways. One is through our evictions unit, where we have social service workers who work with families who are about to experience eviction and try to make sure that we can rehouse them before that eviction is actually served. In addition to that, we'll work with CPS, public school liaisons, so that the kids can continue to stay in school. Brian Samuels talked about the number of DCFS runaways. Another way we interact with homeless youth is through our child protection unit. When DCFS has a child who runs away, that unit attempts to go out and find that child or young adult before they, fall in with traffickers or drug dealers and the like, which can happen pretty quickly when they're on the street. And then finally, we interact with homeless youth, sadly, at the jail, which is probably the most tragic. That's where their homelessness becomes criminalized. The jail too often is hardship housing for the homeless. And, while we are a point of intersection and intervention at the point where they land in our custody, it's often too late.
What percentage, or what are the numbers for homeless youth that end up in the jail?
Well, I can tell you that on any given day, we have about 300 individuals who have been ordered on electronic monitoring but have no place to stay, and probably a third of those are youth. The sheriff contracts for beds in the community, but still the supply is less than the demand for them.
And a challenge?
Wow.
Just one, because we're going to get into more of that. Yeah.
I think doing great discharge planning at the jail. It's difficult because we don't know when people are going to get out. Unlike prison, where there's a definite day that somebody's going home, at the jail, somebody could go to court tomorrow and have their charges dropped. And in a very short time, we have to try to cobble together a discharge plan, and that's extremely challenging.
And what's the solution to that? Is it, as Lisa was talking about, is it a lot of hard work and time that is that what you need more of to?
Yeah, so what we're trying to do is begin to do discharge planning on the first day somebody comes into our custody. But if you look at, that's an enormous task. Last year we had 52,000 people who spent at least one night in the jail before they were released. That's a lot of discharge planning. But just because it's hard doesn't mean we shouldn't do it.
Great, thank you. Abidas, what is yours? How do you interact with homeless youth, and one example perhaps, and then a challenge?
So with juvenile probation and court services, we have